Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That's Eric over there.
Hello.
That's Vanessa over there.
Hello.
And that means I'm Kelly. A couple of quick announcements, guys. First of all, Commodore, the limited edition book that I published, all of them have been mailed out now, so everybody should have their copy by now. Thank you to everyone who played along at home.
Yes.
Not sure that I will ever do anything like this again, but we put out a pretty cool product.
Yes.
Eric, you bought one.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's a gorgeous looking book.
And Emily toss out for, well, by the time you listen, you might have these, but this isn't Amazon. This will not be Amazon Prime to you overnight. So, please hold on. Give it a little time to arrive.
Oh, you're talking about books?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I mailed them out.
And the mail service actually is having a big issue right now where they're purposely slowing things down. So if you used USPS, just be aware. It might take a minute.
Yeah, I think that everybody will have them by the time this episode comes out. I've already been seeing on Facebook people posting pictures of it and how happy they are. So that makes me happy.
Oh.
Secondly, let me remind everybody that we have a little YouTube channel called Strange Eons TV.
That's right.
Which has all the episodes on it. It also has a couple of short films that Eric and I made. It also now has at least one short film that Vanessa made.
Yeah.
And it is a really, really beautiful film.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So if you guys are curious about any of the other stuff we do, you can see it there on Strange Eons TV on YouTube.
Yeah, please check it out.
Also, this is episode 142, and we have some cool stuff cooking right now, and I think that we'll be able to announce some of the stuff by episode 150, our big extra large episode 150.
We have to do another extra large episode.
We hadn't talked about it. I suppose
it's 8 episodes away. We really should think of something.
We should think of what we want to do. It probably shouldn't just be like, this one has can openers in it. Woo!
Or the last big one, episode 100, where I didn't say anything about it until episode 101.
Yes. Yeah. That was kind of sad. Yeah. I don't think any of us realized, but I mean, it was your guys' episode 100. So what's my episode 100? Oh, we probably already passed it.
Probably.
No, we started recounting.
Oh.
Oh, no, we did like 23, I think, before we came on.
Yeah.
Still 150 for you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not part of us. You want to be separate?
I don't know. I want to give you guys your cred.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, don't.
I'll
take
figure
it
out what
personally.
your 150 episode is.
Oh my God. Forget it. Forget I said anything.
You guys, sensitive. I started reading a book, and I did not write down the author's name, but I started reading the book because of the show Evil.
Oh, okay.
Huh. Okay.
Are you caught up on Evil, Vanessa?
I am.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Remember it's probably the 3 episodes back or something like that, where they were suddenly visited by an agent of the Catholic Church who, Michael, I believe, said, "You work with the entity." And the guy said, "I can neither confirm nor deny that."
Yes.
I found a book called The Entity, which is all about Vatican espionage.
Oh, sure.
And I started reading it, and it is interesting stuff.
Really?
Does this have anything to do with the movie, The Entity?
No.
Okay.
No, the Vatican CIA/FBI is called The Entity.
Okay.
Now you're going to be reading fucking Dan Brown books.
I doubt that very much. This is written not as a story, but as a document.
Oh.
And I'm going to guess that a lot of this is either supposition, because the Catholic Church doesn't even like to admit that the entity exists.
Sure.
What is the entity?
That is the name of their FBI/CIA.
Ah, ha, 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 ha. I was like, is the CIA thing studying an entity that I don't know about? Oh God, there's more. There's more to learn.
That's a totally different book.
Right.
I'm going to church right now.
I'm
I
going to
have
assume the
questions.
entity is God, okay? Jeez.
It just sounds like another bad translation from something that it meant something else originally.
It very well may be. Look, I am no supporter of organized religion in any way, but I do find the background of them very interesting.
Oh,
I
man.
bet. God, I mean, when you have enough money and enough history and enough power, there's some interesting shit back there.
I remember hearing that when we were visiting Vatican City a few years ago, there's a certain kind of marble, which is the most expensive marble in the world. And something like 94% of it is in Vatican City.
Yeah. Probably within the Vatican itself.
There's a great line in that Chapel Wait show I was talking about last week where Adrian Brody says that whoever wins the war decides what God looks like. And, as far back as the Crusades and everything, the Catholic Church has been trying to tell us what God looks like.
Sure.
And because they won and killed a lot of other religions on the way, they're allowed to do that, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it ate a lot of other religions.
Yeah.
Which was the smart, horrifying part about it. But yeah, that's such a cool line. I love that. I never really, I don't know. I guess it's hard to just stop and think about that. But yeah. Huh. Oh, yeah, me.
And off to the light start. The subject matter we go.
Oh, man. Well, I had actually seen a movie a little bit back that I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about. So I thought I would bring it up. Did either of you see Shang Chi?
No, still haven't.
Still have not seen it.
What the heck, guys?
Exactly, yeah.
What? After you talked about it and how
once I found out it was so far away from the comics that I was reading, that I was like, okay. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it when it hits Disney.
Sure. It's it was a perfectly serviceable Marvel movie. It probably wasn't in my top 5, but it wasn't in the bottom 5 either. It was definitely fun. I think the acting in it was really great. I love the character of Shang-Chi. I think the dad, I can't remember the guy who plays the dad, but he's really, really effective. And all that stuff you're talking about with the sort of James Bondy stuff, that all lives with his story.
Oh, so they touch on that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that makes me more interested.
Totally. Yeah. Like the idea is that he's powerful, but he used it for these sort of to run these organizations and whatever in his youth. So the kid who's his son, he doesn't really have powers, or at least not for a bit. It's really his martial arts that he was trained into by his dad. Yeah. So that, it evolves into something very, very mystical, but it starts off probably the first half of the film is not about that.
That sounds encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's as removed as maybe you were led to believe, but it isn't true to that either.
Let me derail you for a minute and talk about something that's kind of related. Mm-hmm. So Scarlett Johansson won her legal thing against Marvel releasing the film day of date on Disney and theater.
Yeah.
And I heard a lot of people saying that this day of date thing was going to kill the cinema going experience. Mm-hmm. And first of all, we've heard that for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
VHS, TV, anything.
But
everything.
Also, for the first time, I was kind of like, I'm okay with that. I know you guys are having a good time going to the theaters and everything. Mm-hmm. I have had more negative experiences. If I were to take my last 20 times at the theater, more negative than positive experiences going to the theater.
Sure.
And I think that our shitty society that allows people to whip out their phone during a theater and all that, it has made the cinema experience a thing that I don't look forward to. And I'm just like, I'm totally happy with it dying. I got a huge TV. Everybody's got a huge TV.
Yeah.
And maybe it will change the way movies are made. Because the person was saying, look, if you want these tentpole blockbusters, you got to do this. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want these tentpole blockbusters.
Yeah.
I like them, but it has absolutely killed small films.
Yeah. Well, small, like mid-range, $20 to $50 million films are just gone.
Yeah. And that's mid-range is $20 to $50 million. That's ridiculous. And you're not going to see a $20 to $50 million in the theater anymore.
But you are going to see them on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But see, I wonder if that then allows us to get back to some actual filmmaking instead of just tentpole blockbusters.
Right.
You know what? I think the fascinating thing about this is that before the pandemic, I heard people screaming this, freaking out, pulling out their hair. Oh my God, cinema is going to die. And now with the pandemic, it's like, oh my God, we can still enjoy cinema. And I think that the perspective hopefully is beginning to shift, aside from the people who are hardcore. Like I will always go to movies. That's just, I think a lot of people who go to the movies will continue to go to the movies. It's a great way to take your family out, to take dates out. It's not about necessarily just the movie. There's a lot more involved in that. So this idea that the theater is going to die because of VHS, because of cable,
whatever new technology comes around.
Yeah, and because of streaming. No, it's just another great outlet for us to get amazing art that isn't just like must-see TV crap that was thrown at us.
Well, toss out there a little bit as far as going to the theater. I've only gone to Cinemark with the exception of one time in the last maybe 3 years. I have never had a bad problem. Knock on wood. Yesterday, I thought was going to be that day because, it was packed, or not yesterday, but last week when I saw James Bond one, the theater was just sold out. It was as packed as it gets. And the two people sitting right next to me, all through the trailers and everything, were having this giant conversation. I'm like, oh, great. So this is finally going to be the crappy time I had in the theater. And as soon as the movie start, they shut up. I don't know. I've never had any problems at that theater. Of course, 21 and over only.
Yeah, that does make a difference.
That makes a huge difference. And the seats are comfortable and the food's good and all that stuff. So it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
But like the one that I did go that was off was freaking terrible. It was just a regular, lines of seats kind of theater. And I was like, well, this sucks.
Yeah, it's such a mixed bag. Like, I really feel like depending what theater you go to, you're going to have a very, very different experience. So going to a 21 and over, you're going to be there with the adults, hopefully. But then there's other things like seeing a movie at SIF Uptown. I had such a mixed experience where there are grown ass quote unquote smart, respectable adults who answer their gosh darn phone in the middle of a movie. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? You're at a theater that's here for people who love theaters. But then I've gone to the Grand Cinema in downtown Tacoma, not that far, probably in where Hilltop was. And it's always been good. So, there's a lot about the kind of people who are going and the amount of respect that they're going to give.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Just thought it was worth talking about.
Yeah, I think it's super worth talking about. And right now, I love it. I love what's happening with movies right now. The fact that streaming services are like, oh crap, we got to keep our subscribers and make more. And so their answer is great new content. I will take that. And run with it.
Definitely.
Whose turn is it?
I was going to say,
I think it's your turn.
Yeah. That's okay. Mine can be nice and short. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. VHS 94.
Oh no, I've heard about this film.
I'm probably going to see this film like tonight, but go on. I want to know.
Are you spending money to see this film?
No,
I think it's on Shudder.
Yeah, it's somewhere free.
I think I watched all of the first segment. I skipped through almost all of the second.
Oof.
And the third was decent.
Okay.
But this weird need to fuck up a film to make it look like it's shitty VHS, but then not do a good job of it.
I know. Why? Oh,
the last one hit it. The last one looked like, okay, that's what an old VHS tape looks like.
Yeah.
It's not just this constant line at the bottom that, oh, look, it's right. No, that will show up, but that'll disappear quickly most of the time or something else. It doesn't look like old faded VHS.
No.
The Center movie kind of did it right in that it was looking out of a VHS camera. So it was actually very
Oh.
clear.
Oh.
But then it kind of got crappy as things went along. But the last one pulled it off. But I'm not in the world of let's downgrade our stuff to make it look crappy, to make it cool and retro or whatever. It's like, okay.
Oh, Eric.
What were the stories like, though?
I don't remember the first one. The second one
Promising.
was kind of a mad scientist who was like creating Tetsuo people,
Mm.
like putting on weapons on people. And the third one was a story of, like Northern Idaho organizations, shall we say, getting together and they're going to blow up some kind of a building.
Oh, like a militia or something.
Yeah, and they have a secret weapon.
Mm.
Now, that one was kind of fun. And the wraparound story is fine.
Oh, the wraparound story is always the thing that kills it for me.
As well, it's not going to help.
Fucking body bags. I love John Carpenter, but sir, you cannot act. Just pull it back a notch. I'm glad you mentioned the VHS thing. That is the exact thing that would frustrate the shit out of me. Because I've had to buy packages of VHS effects and whatever, and like, God, it's garbage and it's so dumb and like it's not real and nobody does remember. Just like watch an old VHS and you will know what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. And most of these do not.
Well, it's all gimmick, right? I mean, when
Yeah,
you see a
exactly.
movie that was set in the 80s, everybody is wearing pink and
Right.
glow colors and everything. But living through the 80s, I remember that's not how things actually looked.
Right.
No, there was a lot of like big baggy sweatshirts. And,
And people weren't wearing shirts that said, I love the 80s in
No.
the 80s.
It just said
True.
like Gap.
I am going to use my slot here to talk about two different things that are tangentially related. The new is Star Wars Visions. Anybody? Anyone?
No, did not watch.
Still haven't yet, but I'm intrigued.
A mixed bag of non-canon Star Wars stories being told through an anime lens.
So you're saying it's Star Wars What If?
It is a little bit of Star Wars What If.
Oh my God.
What if Jabba the Hutt hired a rock band that was so big that the entire universe was rocking out to it, including Boba Fett?
Oh my God. I mean, fine, I guess.
I don't know if that's the strongest selling point I've heard to watch these.
Well,
Jeez.
I would say the strongest part of these is that a couple of them are done in really cool anime samurai looking stuff that's just like, oh, that's awesome. If you want to see a couple of samurai going at each other with lightsabers instead of blades, that's
cool.
Yeah, there's
Kinda
some
like
really cool shit.
That Boba Fett that was done in the style of a samurai, the toy.
Right.
Yeah, that was cool.
So then, kind of related to that, I have been watching the Star Trek animated series from the 60s. This is from the 70s.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And I remember watching this as a kid and it was a cartoon. And as an adult, I'm like, this is better than some of the original series episodes.
Yeah.
It doesn't talk down to kids. The animation is wild. The backgrounds are very trippy and cool.
True.
And I'm just like, holy shit, I can't believe I have missed this for this many years.
Same. I have not dipped into it.
You should.
I know. I'm a bad Star Trek fan.
If nothing else, man, you got to, because you mentioned that. I remember watching that. The second episode was Spock. I actually remember.
Yeah.
Well, I'm watching going, I remember this one. Oh, shit. Now I remember why I remember this one.
Well, watching it has made me pull out my old Star Trek concordance. And I was like, God, I can't believe I still have this beat up old gigantic book that my mom got me when I was like 8 years old.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to admit something very sad right now, but there's a reason for it. So stick with me. So I just finished watching 3 seasons of a show on Netflix called Virgin River. Which is a nurse moves to a small town out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a hottie running the local bar, and there's drama there's love, and it's a bad one of those.
Is it Korean?
No.
Okay, because they seem to have a lot of Korean soap operas on Netflix right now.
I'm trying to think if it's it's set in Canada or not. I think it's set in like Montana, but filmed somewhere like that. It's pretty bad. I like having shows that I don't have to commit any emotional level to, and I can just be like, oh no, you lost the baby, or oh, they finally kissed. Like, it's nice to just have one to chuck every once in a while in the background. So, and season 3 gets very weird because it's COVID, and 2 of the actors will not be on set. So one of them keeps zooming in until they finally murder her. And the other one is just on the road somewhere. So the 3rd season completely unravels. However, in it is this very kindly but grumpy doctor character who's really sweet and kind of always stepping in his own words and being a bit of a jerk, but also like such a sweetheart underneath. He is also an evil and has recently shown up as that like rich dude that keeps going to parties and is engaging in the whatever they're engaging in.
Tim Matheson.
With the white hair and the blue eyes.
That's Tim Matheson.
It's so weird to watch him be like, you're playing like sex games and like really like bizarre shit. And one of his eyes looks slightly darker than the other. I was like, in Virgin River, his eyes were the same shade. I'm sure of it. So
right,
it's been a whiplash.
In Evil, she asks him about his eye. And he tells her he's got a very rare condition.
I totally missed this for somehow. Yeah. So that's been fun.
So is this a show that is new?
No, it's had 3 seasons.
No, I mean, is he on 2 shows at the same time? I guess I'm asking.
That's a great question. Theoretically, yes, but I don't know if Virgin River is going to have a 4th season, but I think they must have been shooting at the same time.
Wow. Good for him. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a lot of people talking about Tim Matheson the last 20 years.
He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. And my head is really, really confused by the whole experience. So.
Okay. I got a weird question for you.
Yeah.
As a bad disaster movie lover, do you like bad disaster TV as well?
I think that's exactly what's happening.
Okay.
Or at least if there's teenagers, then I especially love it.
This one may be a little tough. I got a dumb network TV show to recommend to you then.
Okay.
Still on.
Oh, God.
You ever watch 911?
Yes, I have. My mom, I saw the first like 4 episodes and I can't remember who the main guy starred in. He wasn't from Party of 5, right? He was from something though.
I didn't watch that. But,
yeah, it's terrifying because it's like, oh, what if a roller coaster stopped upside down and somebody fell out?
There's never that episode where it's, a guy's had a heart attack. We need to help him. It's all like the zoo has been overrun and there's animals running all over the place.
Wait a second.
The level of awful, horrific deaths in it is so high. And then they're like, and this is the new guy as part of the force.
So this show is not about things that have actually happened.
Oh, no, this is a newer show.
It's an extreme.
Not like Emergency 911
right,
or whatever that was.
No.
It's like,
interesting. How
it's
funny.
like 911 response calls, and all the calls are like fucking bonkers. Like, my plane just crashed and I'm missing a leg. All right, Tim, we got to get down there.
There's an outage from the GPS system. So like 6 people drive their cars into a lake. One right after the other.
Wow.
As you do.
Oh, it's a wonderful watch. I will admit, it's not, I'm not going to say it's that's why I said you like bad disaster movies.
It's bad
this is like
TV.
Bad disaster TV.
It's awful. And it's hard to watch a lot of the time. I'm like, because it whiplashes you between super safe network television and like horrific deaths.
So I'm guessing, it starts off with somebody getting a 911 call.
Yeah, that usually, but not.
It starts off with the thing that happens to cause a 911 call.
Yeah,
so it's a little bit of like Final Destination,
right?
Like, and then it's a call from the horrific thing.
And then there's the spinoff 911 someplace in Texas, Austin, which stars Rob Lowe as the lead guy.
Rob Lowe.
And anything he's in is fun to watch.
Always. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I have to watch it again.
I know we're way off topic, but
that's okay.
The people drive into the lake like full speed.
Pretty much. Like the GPS goes out and it just fritzes and says turn left.
Navageddon.
Yes. I would watch that easy.
It is.
Does any of the 911 operators go, We traced the call. It's coming from inside your pants. Get out of your pants.
No, but
No.
I can see a couple of the characters on the show saying that. But it's a fun show.
Yeah.
I like watching it. It's, like you said, not everything you watch needs to be Watchmen.
Exactly. Sometimes you just need some crap, like some real serious crap that you don't have to care about. You don't have to think too hard over. I have seen all of One Tree Hill by these means. All of it. Like that's like 8 or by the end, there's no one from the original. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
And the tree is gone.
the tree is long gone.
No Tree Hill.
The basketball is deflated by then.
Final season of One Tree Hill. No tree.
No Tree Hill.
Okay, well, anyways.
Yeah.
So then we can just thankfully talk a little bit less again about the other movie I had, Bingo Hell.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gigi, who, as anybody listening to the show knows, I'm a huge fan of, and talked about a few of her films, and her short films have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And this one looks like a Gigi film. I mean, it looks great. There's a lot of good stuff visually to like in it, but it's an okay story. It's just, I
have watched it also. I liked some of it or parts of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the budget was on this. It looks like it had to be more than the Hulu movies she's had. And it looked good. And it was kind of, the premise is very compelling.
Yeah.
And then the story is not so much. It's the problem.
Is it better than, I mean, I haven't actually seen either, but is it better than Culture Shock or is it?
I did not like Culture Shock.
Okay.
I did. I thought Culture Shock was pretty good. It's better than, it's not, no.
Okay. That's fair.
I don't know. This goes back to, I will just say this movie was not for me.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, well, I will check it out eventually.
Watch for whatever she does next, because I still think she's a really talented director.
Oh, I think she's going to
absolutely.
do great. And every time I see her post stuff, I'm like, yeah, fucking get it, Gigi. Like,
Well,
fucking do it.
The look she gets, her DPs or whoever she works with. I know the guy she worked with on her shorts.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't think she's still working with them.
Yeah.
But whatever she does with her DPs, I just like the way her movies look. They always look really interesting.
For sure. I mean, I noticed watching Bingo Hell, there's, she did not put a camera on a tripod once. None of those shots are on a tripod.
Right.
And I thought that was kind of interesting. You know?
So yeah, 911. Go check it out.
Oh.
Why don't we take a little break, guys? And then when we're coming back, we're talking about ghosts again.
Go.
Attention all Ghostbusters. Be on the lookout for haunted humans. Wanted, Granny Gross. She's no sweet old lady. Wanted, Tombstone Tackle. He's no hero. Wanted, ex-cop. He's not on your side. To catch these ghosts, you need the real Ghostbusters. There's Peter, Egon, Winston, Ray. Each sold separately. They're running out fast.
We are back. Vanessa, this was your subgenre topic.
Yeah. So I picked the very generic but always wonderful topic of ghosts.
Yeah.
Whoa. And there are so many great choices out there. And I did notice that like probably the last 4 films I saw all just happened to have ghosts in it.
Look, we could just make
Nice.
this a podcast about ghosts every episode and we wouldn't run out of movies.
It's so true. So I really wanted to check out something that I had not seen since I was probably in middle school and thought it would be really cool to revisit. It's a bit of a popular film, so I do feel kind of bad about that. But it's something that I care about. So,
Bring it
well.
on.
So fuck you, listeners, is what she's really saying.
No,
I
I'm
don't think it
saying
was listeners.
not listeners. Absolutely not. So I went with the 1995 film Casper.
For 100 years, he has wandered the halls of Whipstaff Manor. Waiting for someone.
There's a girl on my bed. That one's easy.
Now, life at Whipstaff Manor
Can I keep you?
will never be the same.
Cool.
Ghosts can't hurt you. Don't come near me, you spiteful spook. We share haunting stories, we throw parties. The parties are always pretty dead, though.
I feel like Oprah on hiatus.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
We have company.
Well, company loves misery. So, take a hike.
Get a grade.
Yeah.
Dad.
Oh, one and one for all. Fix your pants before they fall.
You guys are disgusting, obnoxious creeps.
Thank you.
Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment
Are we scary or what?
invite you on a wild, wondrous ride
Hurry up, come on.
to the other side.
Smellogram.
Casper,
Sorry.
Oh boy.
Oh boy is right.
Confession. I saw this in the theater.
Did
Oh,
you
boy.
really? I might have.
Well, wait a
also.
second. I guess I got to hear. I've never seen this, and I just thought it was like a kids movie.
Oh, you've never seen it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I would say it's like a Tim Burton style level of kids movie. So you have a lot of adult freaky ass moments in it, but it's all with that layer of like slapstick and silly. But let me get into it. This has a rotten Rotten Tomato score of 50% critics and 49% audience.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm surprised because it was such a huge hit. And by huge hit, I mean it had a budget of $55 million and made $288 million.
Too shabby.
Yeah, it did pretty darn good. It was produced in part by Amblin, so Spielberg was pretty heavily involved. The director is a guy named Brad Silberling. He's done 32 things. He also does a lot of producing, but recently he's done Jane the Virgin, Dash and Lily for Netflix, some Charmed, but he also did City of Angels, a series of unfortunate events, Moonlight Mile, and a few episodes of Doogie Howser. So he's been around. Written by, of course, characters from Joseph Oriolo, but written by Sherry Stoner, who did a lot of Animaniacs and Tiny Toon Adventures, and Dean Oliver, who did Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, The 7D, which I don't know what it is, but it was very front and center, Animaniacs also, and Tiny Toon Adventures also. She also does voice acting work, including the voice of the brave little toaster.
Oh.
Yeah,
nice.
I thought it was good. Music by James Horner, cinematography by Dean Cundy. So you're in pretty good hands with this film, starring Bill Pullman as Dr. Harvey.
And that's why I saw it in the theater.
Nice.
Like, oh, Bill Pullman joint. Let's check it out.
Bill Pullman, I had such a crush on.
Oh, me too.
Yes. Between Independence Day, While You Were Sleeping, which was like the big one for me. God, he's so good. And While You're Sleeping. Anyway, it's not even a good movie, but you guys might also know him from Spaceballs or my giant rant about Lake Placid.
How can we forget?
Movie. Fuck that movie. I want my life back. Do we have an address for that? It's fine. Christina Ricci as Kat. This was I want to say it's one of her early roles, but she was actually in Mermaids with Cher as a kid. So she's been around for a while. She's done 86 projects. Before this, she did do Addams Family, and after Speed Racer, Now and Then, The Ice Storm, Sleepy Hollow, and 7 episodes of Ally McBeal.
Oh.
She's currently doing a show called Yellow Jackets, which I don't know anything about, but I was glad to see she's still acting. Kathy Moriarty as Kerrigan, who's been in 77 projects it's weird because you're like, man, I know her from somewhere. And at first I was like, is that Melanie Griffith? Who is this? She looks, she's blonde and has a kind of interesting voice. She's been in Raging Bull, Analyze That, Soap Dish, lots of TV and shorts. And Eric Idle is in this as her assistant guy or lover. I don't know. Maybe husband. I'm not sure. He's there. He's there hanging out. He's been in 86 Things, just Monty Python. Just don't worry about it. Monty Python. That's all you need to know. And then Casper is played by two different people. Malachi Pearson plays Casper's voice. He's been in 29 Things, including 52 episodes of Spooktacular New Adventures of Casper. He is basically a TV day player. And the real life version of Casper, when he becomes human for just a few moments, such a joy. Devon Sawa.
Oh, no.
Young ass Devon Sawa, who has been in 54 Things, including Final Destination, Idle Hands, and was also in Now and Then.
What year was this again?
This was 95.
Wow.
He was not a thing at that point.
Yeah, that's pretty young.
Yeah, pretty young Devon Sawa. I was like, man, this is Devon Sawa? He is like middle school age. There are also a lot of guest appearances. And I'm just going to run down this list. It's pretty great. Ben Stein, Fred Rogers, Dan Aykroyd, Rodney Dangerfield, Clint Eastwood, Mel Gibson, Harry Shearer, who's Homer Simpson, and John Kasser, the Crypt Keeper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood showed up.
Clint Eastwood. This was the last little fun fact. Last thing that Clint Eastwood was in that he did not direct.
Damn.
Okay. All
wow.
Right.
Yeah. I should say they are all in there for a fleeting moment where they might say a sentence. So let's be clear about that. They're not main characters.
They are cameos.
Cameos, for sure. The plot, the story begins with two kids who are standing outside this giant gate of this big, empty, creepy mansion, which is basically a matte painting, like the actual mansion. I was like, whoa. Man, I did not know that when I saw this as a kid, but okay. It looks very cool and weird. They of course break into the mansion and they have a Polaroid camera with them and they want to take pictures of themselves inside the mansion to prove to all their friends that they were brave, I guess. They start fighting over the camera. One's like, no, I'm going to be in the photo. No, I'm going to be in the photo, shoving it back and forth when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a ghost appears and says, don't fight, fellas. I'll take the picture. It's Casper the Friendly Ghost. And of course, he takes the photo and the two boys are screaming, really cute. And then they run out as fast as they can. So that introduces us to Casper, who is living in this giant house, not entirely alone, but very, very lonely. He doesn't really have any friends.
Does he have 3 shitty ghost buddies?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember this from the comics.
Yeah, he has 3 asshole, quote unquote, uncles. Stretch, Fatso, and Stinky.
Man.
They are
those are
fucking
some
the worst.
Inventive names. Is one tall and skinny,
Sure
one round,
is.
and one stink? Wow.
Yeah. Stretch is the mean one.
How
Stinky's
could I
the smelly
not
one.
seen this movie since the theater?
I feel if you name your kid Stinky, you're going to end up with a stinky kid.
You just don't have a choice in it, you know? I mean...
Or an OCD level cleanliness kid.
So Casper's kind of in a pretty abusive situation with these 3 ghosts who are constantly forcing him to clean and to feed them. They just eat a lot of junk food that goes exactly like just straight through them and drops below them like piles of poop. It's like, but they're just food. It's just food that's been mashed up. It's very humorous. I guess. It's humorous to somebody. So he's just desperate for a friend. Meanwhile, we go to a reading of a will where Kerrigan is there with her dude, Eric Idle. And this guy, I think it's Bill Stein. Sorry.
Did you win
Ben
his
Stein.
money?
Ben Stein is reading it to him, reading it to them and, reading it off. This money is going to the tigers. This money is going to the rainforest. This money is going to the penguins. This one's going to the dyslexic dogs. And she's like, excuse me, is there anything for me in here? And he's like, oh yeah, you get the mansion at such and such address. And she's like, fuck, like that place is horrible. And he's like, yes, it has been closed up, and like it's what is it? Not impounded, but you can't enter.
Condemned?
Condemned. Yes, it's condemned. So she decides to go down there, try to fix it up and sell it to get whatever money. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not accurate. She doesn't want anything to do with it until she throws all of the paperwork for it into the fire. And in the fire, a secret message starts to appear on one of the pieces of paper. So she grabs it out, makes her guy grab it out. He burns his arm. It's fine. It's in a cast for like most of the rest of the movie. Discovers that there is buried secret treasure somewhere in here. So she wants to get to this treasure. They roll up to the house. And of course, there are 3 very pissed off ghosts who are not going to let them get an inch in there. So she does everything she can to try and get these ghosts out of there. So first we start off with this kind of hippie priest dude who goes in. She's like, okay, are you sure you know what you're doing? Have you ever done this before? And he's like, yeah, I mean, I've seen it on TV, so no problem. Yeah. Goes in, comes out. It's very Exorcist. His head is completely turned around. He's like, no, sorry. Couldn't really do it. Walks off.
Is this where the cameos are taking place?
This is one of the cameos. Yeah. Then we have Dan Aykroyd, who shows up as just full on Ghostbuster gear. Like it's got the ghost on it. I mean, obviously they had access to rights, and he's like, who are you gonna call? Not me. And like walks off. Very cheesy. I really don't think this would have been that hard for the Ghostbusters, but that's all right. And then last but not least, she just gets a demolition crew, like a whole big demolition crew with like a wrecking ball. And she's like, well, they can't make me not go in it if there's no house anymore. And of course the ghosts scare off the crew. So she's got her hands tied and she doesn't know what to do. Casper is bored and watching TV, and he sees hot Christina Ricci in a program about a ghost therapist. This is Bill Pullman's character. This is a man he's lost his wife, and he's obsessed with the idea that he can try and talk to ghosts and help them out. And it's obviously just a way in which he's trying to access his dead wife. But there's this like sort of dateline. They do such a good job. It's this really bizarro dateline. Is he just crazy, or is he crazy for the ghost? Like it's just very. They're following around Christina Ricci, who plays his daughter Kat. And they're like, what do you think of your dad doing all this? And she's like walking around in her schoolyard, and she's like, I don't want to talk to you guys. Go away, please. It's hard enough trying to make friends. And it's like, you would never include that in that kind of show, but that's fine. There's a lot of like telling us what people feel. I don't like my dad doing this. I am tired of it. Great, cool. It's a kid's show, or kids' films, so that makes sense. So, of course, Casper's super enamored. He loves the idea of A, somebody wanting to talk to him, B, a solution to Kerrigan's problems, and C, getting to hang out with this cool chick who's like very 90s middle school cool, where she's got like stripy tops and like long dark hair and like oversized shirts. And it just does not look even remotely attractive, but that's fine. I guess she's very fucking cool. So great. So of course, Kerrigan calls up the psychiatrist. He is thrilled for this opportunity. Kat is pissed that they're going to move again. They have moved 9 times in the last year. Wow. She's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm fed up of this. And he promises her, if there's no ghost here, then this is it. He'll finish this. So, they arrive at the mansion and very quickly meet Casper. There's a lot of fainting. There's a lot of screaming. There's a lot of hiding in closets. And then there is a wacky confrontation with the 3 uncles, which results in discovering that they can be vacuumed. Always fun. These characters, it's really interesting to see their sort of really early CGI design. The eyes are very big. The models are a little off, but that's fine. It's pretty fun. There's the physical humor works pretty well in this. And so he decides he's going to take these guys on. He's going to do his best to try and help them cross over. And in the meantime, Kat and Casper start to form a friendship. The treasure underneath the house may or may not be real treasure value gold-wise.
It's love, isn't it?
It's not.
Alrighty then.
Spoiler, it's a baseball.
Oh, so it's like a rosebud.
Yeah, it's totally Rosebud.
Cool.
There is a really, really cool underneath the mansion area where, God, the sets in this are very cool. Casper's dad was this inventor, and he was constantly making bizarro inventions. So you get this bit where she gets thrown into this almost like roller coaster ride of a chair, and it's making its way down into the belly of the basement. And in the meantime, it's like throwing clothes on her and washing her face and trying to shave her and brush her teeth. It's that kind of thing. So that, because his dad never had time to get ready. It was such a waste. And he just wanted to get going on his work. And at the bottom, there's this really cool lab with like a big vat of water that's constantly fogging and like just lots of like beakers and stuff. It feels very Tim Burton-esque, even though it's not. It just feels like adjacent. And the house itself feels very Art Deco, but with like weird statues of like fish with their like mouths agape, and I don't even know how to describe it, but it's pretty great looking. The thing with this film is it traumatized a lot of kids, including myself, really? Because we're talking about a film with Dan Aykroyd saying he can't do the ghost thing. We're talking about ghosts eating food that falls through them. We're talking about a middle school girl just trying to fit in with some mean kids. Uh-huh. And at the same time, people are murdered. People are they're killed horrifically in awful ways, but it's played for laughs. And there's a very, very rough moment, and everybody, you've already seen this movie, so it doesn't matter, except for you guys. Well, except for Kelly. Bill Pullman, her dad ends up dying at one point, and he's around as a ghost. And when you become a ghost, you don't remember your life. So he doesn't know who she is, and he just keeps making fun of her. And it's so heartbreaking because...
Jesus, this is awful.
I know. And even like the priest walking out after trying to exorcise it with his head, like there's like a effect going on where they have sculpted a neck that is twisted completely around with his head facing the wrong way. It's played again for laughs, but it's harrowing. So this film has a lot of dark shit just like occasionally popping up. Of course it's a kid's film, so everything will be okay in the end, but fuck. It was interesting to go back. I did not enjoy the zany slapstick.
Let me stop you
okay,
for a
sure.
second.
Yeah.
Does her dad come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, this is pretty rough stuff.
It is really rough stuff. But the thing is, it's even worse than that because Casper's father had his life's work to make one thing to try and bring his son, who died of pneumonia as a child, back from the dead. Now, he died in a mental institute because everyone thought he was crazy, but he had succeeded in this special serum. So
Herbert West was his
yes.
father.
So there is a trade that gets made that's extremely sad. It's a rough thing.
Well,
Yeah,
kids movies and stuff before Nickelodeon and the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
I get that. I just remember as a kid reading Casper.
Oh, it has nothing.
Wasn't exactly heavy stuff.
Not really.
No, it's not. I mean, Casper it's like Riverdale meets, Archie. Those are two linear. They're the same thing, but they're not.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Things I like about it, like I said, the art design's incredible. It was funnier than I thought it would be. The concept is still really neat, and the story is fucking solid. There isn't a wasted minute in this movie. Like everything wraps up, everything means something. It's really well told. What I don't like, the zany slapstick, I will never enjoy it. Never, ever, ever. It is never funny to me. I'm like, fucking stop. I don't care anymore.
So much great humor lost.
I'm sorry. I will take that back. Buster Keaton. I enjoy Buster Keaton a lot.
I'm not a slapstick guy myself, so I'm there with you.
Okay. I appreciate it. The harrowing murder is really tough. There is a moment where they rip off something from Carrie and not very well at all. So that's sort of sad. Casper being like a sweet ghost guy who kind of has a thing for cat and he's being a little flirty, but he doesn't know how to do it. And he's just kind of a bumbling ghost. To a hot Devon Sawa who's like middle school sexy is a very odd shift. He is not the same person at all. You're like,
Does her dad, when he becomes a ghost, look like her dad, or does he look like a cartoony ghost?
So it's weird. The people who die and come back as ghosts look like a cartoony version of themselves.
Okay.
Versus the, Stretch and Fatso and whatever that just look like a cartoon version of the comic.
Right. Okay.
They've been dead longer.
I realize I'm asking way too many questions.
No. I was also wondering why some people had hats and hair, like in all kinds of their jewelry and whatever, and the clothes to a certain extent, and others are like just nothing. They're just ghosts.
Right.
Yep. Don't know, but yes, he does still look like Bill Pullman, but as a ghost. Yeah. Also, the CGI is not horrible, but it's not great. So. A little bit of trivia about this film. After watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie from 1990, several times, executive producer Steven Spielberg approached its director, Steve Barron, to direct the film. However, Barron turned it down. He would later admit it was a mistake to turn down the offer. J.J. Abrams did an uncredited rewrite of the screenplay. This is the first feature film to have a fully computer-generated visual effects character in a leading role. The manor design is based off of the style of Antoni Gaudi, a 19th century modernist architect. During filming, Bill Pullman and Christina Ricci had to talk to tennis balls in place of the ghosts, while the ghosts were added on later. The house that was used for Whipstaff Manor was also used to film scenes from the Backstreet Boys music video, Everybody.
Okay.
Everybody. Ooh, shake that button. A scene was filmed with Zelda Rubinstein shooting out of a chimney and shouting, "Go toward the light," reprising her role from Poltergeist, but it was cut.
Why would you cut that?
I know. I hope it's an extra somewhere out there. This is the second movie. Oh, I guess this is the second movie with Christina Ricci and Devon Sawa in love. The first one being, well, no, Now and Then 1995. This was 1990. Oh, I guess maybe they came out the same year. So the song at the end, Casper the Friendly Ghost, is sung by Little Richard. A live action sequel was proposed and a preliminary script was drafted when production wrapped. Unfortunately, Christina Ricci and Bill Pullman were already attached to other projects and would not be available for more than a year. The producers decided to produce a cartoon series instead with The Spooktacular New Adventures of Casper. But after the film's release, Christina Ricci said, "Looking back, that movie sucked. It made no sense. I'm supposed to fall in love with a ghost. How does that work? And he's like a cartoon. Well, part of him." She later claimed that she wanted to move on from children's films as she got older. One reason the sequel also never happened.
I would have liked it if Casper, when he became a human, was like a chubby, bald kid.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yes.
If he kind of looked like Casper.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
On any level, literally any level.
Can't
Even if he had short hair.
Huh.
Even if he was just a goofy kid.
I guess probably in 95, my nieces were getting too old or something like that, because there was a string of children's movies I saw because I took them to the theater. And then once I lost that excuse, it just got creepy.
Sure. It was just you sitting there with a bunch of teenage girls.
Yeah, that'd be wrong.
And parents.
Wait, it doesn't sound so bad when you say it that way.
Oh my God. You got to cut that.
How about I go next?
Yeah.
I don't know if you should.
Because I picked a really cool movie, and it's going to be short because I don't want to talk too much about it.
Okay.
I picked from 2020, Don't Listen.
They always wake me up.
Who wakes you up?
The voices.
What do the voices want?
Not allowed to tell you.
It's possible it's due to the instability of all that moving.
You were talking through the walkie, right? With who?
It was you. Sometimes they want me to draw things. Is it true that Papa hates me?
What's happening to him, Danny?
Mama, need to come help me.
Eric!
That man wants to hurt me. It's me.
Eric.
I need you to hear a recording.
It's a threat. Evil exists and lies in wait.
If my boy really needs help, I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
They're right here. They're trying to tell us something.
She's here! Sarah!
Eric? Eric! Can you hear them right now?
Which is available right now on Netflix.
Ooh.
Put this episode down. Go watch it. Come back. We'll be right here when you come back.
Okay.
I could find nothing about the budget. The box office, $443,000. The Rotten Tomatoes critic score is 63%, and the audience has it at 61%.
A box office of 400 in a COVID year in 2020. That's unreal.
Probably number one at the box office for
Probably
1 week.
exactly.
Well, very strange because it's Spanish language also.
Oh.
Directed by Angel Gomez Hernandez, who has done a few short films, and then Don't Listen, and then something in development called The Pope's Exorcist.
Ooh.
And written by Santiago Diaz, who wrote El Secreto de Puente Viejo and Yo Soy Bea. It stars Rodolfo Sancho, who has done a ton of Spanish TV, including 453 episodes of El Salir de Clase and 182 episodes of Amar es para siempre.
Oh, those are my favorites.
Oh, I know.
All of them.
I know. That's
I
why
don't think you
mentioned them.
pronounced those
Thank you
correctly.
thank you for telling me, because I'm so thrilled now, especially.
It also stars Belén Fabra, who was in The Ministry of Time and Derecho a Soñar, and Ramon Barria, Lucky Star, Blinded, and The Ugliest Woman in the World.
Oh, also my favorite movie, TV show.
So I'm going to be brief on this.
Okay.
Let me just say that I ended up really fucking digging this movie. And, as usual, when anyone picks a subgenre, I then go to the internet and then look at all these lists of movies, 10 best ghost movies and all that stuff, 100 best ghost movies. And I was just like, God, I've done all of these.
Yeah.
There's nothing really original on here. And then I found this list of one of those stupid things that nobody ever gets right. 10 horror films on Netflix that you don't know about.
Oh, sure.
right.
Okay. And I get to this one, and it's like just people going, I fucking loved this movie. And I'm like, you're right. I've never even heard of this. So Daniel, Sarah, and their only son, Eric, are a happy family that move into an old house in the country with plans to flip it. So Eric is like 8 or 9, and mom and dad do this. They move into these houses that are dilapidated and huge, and then they fix them up, and then they flip it. And this place is dilapidated and huge. It is really cool looking, and it's got an old swimming pool in the back, and it's got this really cool architecture, all this stuff. It looks very much like it should be haunted. And pretty quickly, Eric is starting to see things. He's got these creepy ghost stuff, and the Spanish do shit with ghosts that is so much better than everybody else does. So like he'll be looking under his bed, and then across on the other side of the bed, you'll see the bare feet of an old man standing there. And so he kind of slowly gets up and looks over the bed, and there's nothing there. And then he looks back under the bed, and the feet are walking towards the bed. And then you see something get on the bed, from underneath. And it's just super creepy shit. And he's basically begging Dad, can we not live here? And can we move? And the dad's like, hey, you know the deal. We fix up the house and then we'll move on. It's only going to be a couple of months. Don't worry about it. So in a pretty shocking turn, very quickly on, or very early on, they find Eric, the young boy, dead in the swimming pool.
Oh, shit.
And they're, both very distraught and everything. Sarah, in fact, moves back to her folks because they have a big fight. And she's like, I cannot stay here. And he's like, what are we going to do? We just dropped all of our money into this place. We have to fix it up and get it and all that stuff. So it's almost believable. I mean, it would be an absolutely heartbreaking thing, but what are you going to do? You literally have nothing now. So she moves to her folks, and Daniel decides to stay there, and he gets drunk, and he is going to call Sarah up, and he starts calling her and leaves her this kind of rambling message on his cell phone. But while he's doing it, he starts hearing this weird thing kind of creeping through his phone, this weird voice and static and all that shit. And he thinks he starts hearing his dead son's voice trying to call out to him through the phone. So now he's he's going through all this grief and everything. He's latching onto this hope that the spirit of my boy is somewhere in this house. And so he goes to this supernatural investigator named German Redondo, who specializes in electronic voice phenomena. So the EVP stuff that you always see on these silly ghost hunting things. And he travels to the house with his daughter, and they start setting up ghost hunting stuff. And there is some pretty cool shit where they set up this infrared camera in the bedroom of the boy. And she's watching the infrared tape, and she's saying something about, the dad is outside talking to Daniel, and he radios into his daughter and says, anything happening in the room? And she says, no, just Daniel. And he's like, well, I'm talking to Daniel. And she can clearly see this on the infrared. There's a man sitting on the bed, so she switches it to normal and there's nothing there. She switches it to infrared and there's something there. And so she's like, holy shit, I think we actually may have stumbled upon something. So that's pretty creepy. And there's all that shit going on here. We also find out that Germain, the whole reason he's doing this is he is searching for something to kind of link back to his wife who took her own life years ago. So there's that stuff going on. There's the various creepy stuff going on. Sarah, who's at her parents', she checks her cell phone, sees there's a message there, and she's getting this creepy audio message, and then she starts hearing her son's voice in the audio message also. So she comes back home, and she starts telling, Daniel what happened, and he's telling her, and of course she's like, who are these people in this house? And he's trying to explain to her, this is what I think is happening. She goes up into the boy's bedroom, and something starts going on. So they do this weird thing where there's flies in this house. This is a typical haunted house trope with flies in a bad area and stuff like that. But the flies in this place, when you're not watching or being careful, will buzz around you and then fly in your ear, and you will start doing things.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, they're telling you to do creepy things, these flies. And after these creepy things happen, the fly usually flies out of the other ear.
Aww.
And yeah, it's some creepy shit.
Ugh.
So of course, the daughter of the guy is doing some research. This is pretty typical in every ghost story. Somebody has to go to the library and do some research and stuff. And I always get a little tired of that, but this one kind of works because, you always find out, Christ, we built this house on a burial ground, or whatever it is, right? This time she finds out that it goes a little further back than that. And because they're in Spain, there's some ties into the Spanish Inquisition and witchcraft and stuff like that. So, God, I don't want to give much more away. Just to say that there is no happy ending in this. And in fact, there is a pretty good, shocking, gross, awful twist to kind of, a negation of the negation, as it were.
Yeah.
And I was just like, God damn, I really love this. It is on Netflix. Because it's so new, there's just like nothing available on it. But I found one little trivia point. At one point, the guy who comes in introduces himself as Daniel Belasco. And Belasco was the name of the owner of the house in the Legend of Hell House with Roddy McDowell back in 73. So I think it was just a nice little nod towards, another gigantic haunted house film.
Yeah.
Man, I cannot say good enough about this. I'm a little surprised that the audience has it at 61 and the critics only have it at 63. My guess, audiences don't like reading subtitles.
I was totally going to say it's subtitles.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? That's exactly why. I have to read this movie.
It's available dubbed on Netflix. In fact, I started watching it dubbed and I was like, wait a second, I got contacts. I can read these things now. So I switched over and it was fine. But the dubbing was adequate, tells the same story. So if that's something that would turn you away from this, I would say don't let it. So good.
Yeah. My biggest problem with dubbing is it actually alters the sound of a film. Because the voice of the person on set or the voice of the person that ADR'd has been worked into the movie.
Oh, yeah.
So you just wipe that entire sound off. So the sound sounds bizarre in dubbed films.
Sure.
At least
oh my God. That's so, I never thought about that. And now that is so the reason why it's so frustrating and so jarring.
Yeah. I mean, a great example of it doing right is a movie called Das Boot.
Yeah.
Where most of the actors also spoke English. So they actually dubbed their own characters in English. And that is a fantastically well done movie. Anyways, as you're going through that, I've seen this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know if I saw it through one of the streaming film festivals I checked out last year or something, but yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good.
Available on Netflix, and nobody but you and I know about it.
Correct.
Yeah, you got part of the way through it. You started to describe the thing with the infrared and stuff. So I looked that up and go, oh, yeah, that's good. Well,
it's actually called Voces, which translates to voices, which I think is a better title than Don't Listen.
Yeah.
Because now we got Don't Breathe. We got Don't Listen. We got Don't Go in the House. Don't go in the woods.
Don't do anything.
Don't.
Just sit there. Sit on your hands, you weirdo.
Okay, I'm going to start on my movie. This is devolving very quickly. Anyway, so let's see. We've got a kids movie, a wild new ghost movie, and now we've got an art house ghost movie, I will say.
Oh.
Call it that. From 2017, Personal Shopper.
What are you doing in Paris?
I'll take it. This too. It's 500 for the belt and 2,000 for each bag.
Great. I'm a personal shopper. Kira's very high profile. Hey, Kira. She can't do normal things, so I assist her.
You have nothing better to do besides dress Kira?
I'm waiting.
What are you waiting for?
My twin brother, Louis, died here. It's been 95 days. We made this oath. Whoever died first would send the other a sign.
From the afterlife.
Has that always been there? Louis, are you here? I had a sign.
Are you sure?
There was a presence.
Do you think Louis is here?
I don't know. Kira?
I'm just gonna drop these bags for you, okay?
Hey. Kira was murdered.
What were you doing at her place?
Why are you asking? I'm lost. I can't tell whether or not I'm going crazy. Louis, is it you? Or is it just me?
Oh, yes.
Which I admit I had heard of, but had no idea it was actually a ghost movie. I just thought it was actually a personal shopper movie. So
Yes.
I had no interest in it at all. But anyway, so this is out on Hulu or for rent. The Rotten Tomatoes score, another interesting one. 81 by critics, 52 from the audience.
Not surprised.
A lot of Kristen Stewart haters.
Yep,
A
exactly.
lot of just like artsy film haters.
Yeah, that too. Budget, depending on where you looked, is either $1 million or $6 million.
Whoa, that's a change.
And so it either did well or did very poorly at $2.9 million box office.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure. Directed by Olivier Sayas, Wasp Network, Demon Lover, Winner's Child, and 32 other films, almost all French.
Mm.
So he's a French director.
Oh
written
my God,
by
it's
the
all
same
coming
guy.
together now.
There you go, yes. So it's written by the same guy. Stars, like you said, Kristen Stewart from, you might have heard of her from Twilight or Underwater, which was very good.
Very good.
Or Snow White and the Huntsman, which was fine.
I liked it.
Lars Edinger from High Life, Video Nasty, and Hell's Bells. Sure, why not? Sigrid Bouzaz, Rogue, The Night Eats the World, and also many, many French films.
Loved The Night Eats the World.
Opening scene is Stewart in a French villa. And it seems like she's sort of doing, it's not immediately apparent what she's doing, but eventually you figure out that she is kind of ghost hunting. But she's just doing it as herself. She's a medium. And trying to find
It's more like a small to me.
Hey!
Oh my God. Sorry,
This is true.
That took a minute.
I'll see myself out.
It's that bad of a joke.
Hold on, let me absorb the humor.
Wash it down.
Anyways, so she starts that. Nothing really comes of it, though she says she feels a presence the next morning when her friend comes to pick her up and take her back to work. Her job is one of those weird jobs that exists in the world where she is a personal shopper for a very famous, very wealthy model who is also a raging pain in the ass. Although you very, very rarely see her. She doesn't show up in the movie at all, at much. What turns out is her brother had lived in this house and was trying to turn it into an art escape for artists to rent rooms and things like that. So, but he died suddenly of a heart attack, and her friends want to move in, but she wants to investigate it for ghosts first. And so they're going back and forth on that. They described to her a painter who was also a medium, spiritualist who did something with her paints and things. This is sort of a storyline that I think is there to fill in gaps. Because it amounts to her looking at art books, watching some documentaries on the lady, and that's really about it.
Oh, you mean fill in gaps so that they could make it this feature length or something?
Yeah, it's sort of a story that was kind of neat and kind of interesting, but I don't see where it helped her hunt ghosts better at any point, so I'm not sure what the end result was. As a personal shopper, her boss is, like I said, is a pain in the ass, and if she tries on the clothes to see how they work, she gets angry with her, so she's not supposed to try anything on, which leads to a little bit of drama, but oddly no drama between her and her boss. She's a twin brother, by the way, so they're extra medium connected.
Vanessa, I wear an extra medium, just if you ever buy any clothes.
Good to know. Okay, extra medium. I'll make sure to know that.
You'll find it under a large. So she goes back and tries to check out the house again. There's one big filmmaking problem with this movie. Boy, is it shot dark. The shit in the haunted house, quote unquote, is at times very difficult to see what's going on at all. And then, you kind of see like a light on her hair as she walks by something or something. When things happen, you can see it fine. But at the point, it's just like, this is a long time in the dark. She does run into a spirit, but it's not her brother because it's obviously a woman when you see the ghost. And she tries to question it. Doesn't go particularly well. And here's sort of where the story really kind of kicks in of the whole thing is she starts getting these weird text messages. And you can't tell who they're from. And she's not sure she suspects it's her brother, but she's also not sure if it's her brother. So the texts start challenging her to do things that she's afraid to do, like try on her boss's clothes and go out of city to do some stuff and go to a hotel room where she says he'll meet the guy, but the guy's not there. So it's just escalating truth or dare kind of stuff. At one point, she comes in and finds her boss murdered in the apartment. Quite fairly brutally.
What? Well, this took a turn.
Yeah, is someone still in the room? Who knows? Is that a ghost? I don't know. The murder is actually pretty quickly solved. But the movie's final scenes are her coming to grip with the world she's living in now, and world without her brother. There's some neat stuff in here. Apparently she's great. Kristen Stewart can act, and she is very good in this film. Although she does Kristen Stewart in that, she's never happy at any point. There's no joy in her character at any point. But she does the grief well, and she does the I'm not interested in life well. It totally fits the role.
It seems very typecast.
Yes, yeah, it definitely fits what she does well. And it's a well-made movie. It's neat. It's interesting. There's a couple little scares. And when that happens, they're well done. Ultimately, it's an art house French film. So if that interests you at all, you'll probably like the movie. If that doesn't interest you, you're not going to like this movie.
Are the ghost scenes creepy at all?
Yeah, one is real creepy. And some other stuff is creepy enough. I mean, when it needs to do a ghost, it does a ghost fairly well. Mm-hmm. Have you seen this one?
I have, yeah.
Okay, because you had a reaction like either you really hated it or it really disturbed you. I'm not sure which it was.
No, it was one of those things where it felt very A24 to me.
Oh yeah.
It was really long. It was really artsy. Mm-hmm. There are people doing academic-y, studious, or artsy levels of things. Yeah. And I was like, can we just get more story, please? I mean, it's a mood piece. It feels like there's just a tone throughout.
Yeah.
I remember liking the ending. I don't actually remember what the ending was, but that doesn't matter. It is. I remember Kristen Stewart being very good in it as well. So I think you've definitely hit the nail on the head with that.
The ending's fairly ambiguous. Is she seeing these things? Is she not seeing these things? Yeah. Is it dealing with grief and loss, or did she actually talk to spirits? So it's a little open to interpretation.
I don't remember it being dark, but maybe that's
it's only like 4 or 5 scenes, like when she's in the house.
Only 4 or 5 scenes. Only like 30 to 40 minutes.
Oh no, short scenes. Oh, but it's just when she's looking around the house. The rest of it is French art. So
I remember a lot of sunlit rooms and
yes.
Are you saying though that at the end then, so we're not sure if any of this stuff was real or if it's all in her head?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's funny though, because I didn't walk away with that interpretation at all. I thought I knew exactly what happened.
And I could very easily see where that was. And,
interesting.
The reading up on the film, there's a lot of ambiguity in people that saw it, whether it was real or not. I feel like you.
Yeah.
So if you're not interested in this movie, I'll spoil it for you real quick. I'm sure Kelly's not interested at all. I think it was all in her head. I think it was all her reaction trying to deal with her brother's thing, because there's a point and a note, a camera spike right at the end that makes you go, oh, this is where she realizes what's actually going on.
Huh. I thought I remember like a floating fork or something.
Glass. It's a glass.
Glass, yeah. And I was like, oh shit, he's there. It is actually a ghost movie. So
that's the part where, yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Interesting.
But it's definitely, the movie's about loneliness and loss of the brother more than anything else. Tagline, she came looking for a sign. Or
intriguing.
Or alternately, a film written and directed by Oliver Assayas.
Wow. Really digging shallow
on the
there.
nose, that one.
Yes. She pretty much is the movie. I will say, if you have any interest in Kristen Stewart, you should watch it because she's really good in it. If you don't like her at all and aren't willing to let go of Twilight in your angry little hands, you won't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of like, what's his name in the upcoming Batman movie?
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson. Yeah. He does some good work.
He actually isn't bad, but...
So there was an international production between Belgium, Czech Republic, France, and Germany.
Whoa.
The film was selected to compete for the Palme d'Or in the 2016 Cannes Film Festival. The director shared Best Director Award with another director of The Guardian.
The director won Best Director for this film at Cannes?
At Cannes, yeah.
Wow.
But at the same time, this was the first film in the 69 years of the Cannes Film Festival to be booed by critics at the critic screening.
I feel like every year I hear that exact same thing. This is the first time that people hated it. And
really? No, I've heard people throw up, people get sick. I heard that all the time. And I've heard.
I feel like I've heard people
4.5 minute standing ovation, which is what this one was.
Yeah.
Could have been the first one they did that. And then, we're doing that every year since.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody
It could have
talked about
been. It could have been because I've heard it definitely come up a few more times.
But his reaction was, it happens every once in a while where people just don't get the ending. So basically, fuck you critics. I don't care what you think. Let's see, in the United States, the movie grossed $79,000 in 4 theaters.
Oh.
For an average of $20,000 a theater, the highest of the weekend. So whatever. You can find the ways to make it sound like your movie did really well. Like you were talking COVID last year. I was listening to some guy on a podcast who I wish we'd thought of doing. He rented out a theater, paid for it to be filled, and for that week, he was the #1 movie in the U.S.
Oh my God. That's so beautiful.
This movie's been released on Criterion. So it's in the part of the Criterion collection.
Oh, shit. All right. That makes all kinds of sense.
The Guardian awarded the film 5 stars, calling it uncategorizable.
Usually not a selling point.
Not usually.
It's an A24. It's its own genre. It's not an A24, but it is that.
It is similar, yet undeniably terrifying.
Ooh.
Stephanie Zazarak of Time gave a positive review. Personal Shopper's strange, beautifully made films, star and directly, are clearly energized by their dual mission. And it was listed as one of Time's top 10 films of 2017.
Wow.
It's a well-made movie, but it is an art house French film. Yeah. And believe me, that is a very distinctive thing. If you like it, you're fine with it. If you don't, you're never going to like it.
If you're going in to watch that French actress who's very famous, who's in it, am I crazy?
Oh, she played the model?
Yeah.
Yeah, who's in it for like 3 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, if you're in it thinking that this is a drama between those two about shopping, you're in for a horrible surprise. And if you're in it to be spooked, like a ghost story, you're probably not gonna be satisfied either.
Well, I am not gonna watch that movie.
Oh, I know.
It sounds sounds boring.
You would not like it. It's pretty dull.
Okay,
it's pretty dull. I mean, you could just watch the last 5 minutes, and that's pretty much all you need.
I'll tell you this. I would be more likely to watch Casper, and I am very unlikely to watch Casper.
That's fair. Especially since I spoiled the only interesting thing about it. So
yeah. No, I would say sitting in the room, if I'm listening to the podcast and I've seen none of these films, Don't Listen is the one I would definitely recommend.
I think so. That sounds like the best one.
Well, you guys, it's October, and in October, we talk about scary movies.
What?
Huh. What an idea.
Huh? Why?
And that means that it's my choice for the next subgenre. We have done small town horror.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel about doing big city horror?
Woo!
Intrigued?
All I can think of is Jason Takes Manhattan.
Takes Manhattan.
That's all that's in my head.
Would fit.
Sort of.
I'd hope that you'd find something that actually takes place in a big city, but
not on a trip to the big city.
Right.
A long senior cruise. Oh man.
So something like Poltergeist 3 would absolutely fit in this.
Yeah. And was it Basket Case? No. What's the one with the...
Yeah, Basket Case would absolutely work for something like this.
Cool. Very cool.
Malignant would totally work.
Would it? Oh, that's right.
Seattle.
I totally forgot that somehow.
Because it's not in Seattle, so it's easy to forget.
But so let's keep this horror train rolling, and we'll talk big city horror when we come back in a week.
Jugga.
Which means it's time for me to say thanks to everybody who's participating in the Value for Value model. Liking and sharing posts, sending us money, you lovely humans. Thank you so much for that.
I have a fun interlude of value for value sort of thing.
Oh, really? Mm.
While we were recording, we received a joke from Ron.
Oh.
So I will say Ron's joke here on our show.
All right.
Is this movie going to make me cry? Probably. Everything makes you cry. You cried when the pizza got here. I was just so happy.
Yay!
Is that a joke? That's how I feel.
There you
That's
go.
just
Yes.
life. That's just how it is to breathe and be human.
Thanks, Ron. We appreciate that. That falls into the value for value model.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get some value out of that. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Eric, I know that we have an Etsy store that people can buy T-shirts, underwear.
Yeah, give it a
mugs.
shot. Don't think of it as an Etsy store.
Stickers.
Just think of it as an independent podcast store.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. It is the place that we shuck our wares. We're not able to go to conventions and have a little booth with our stuff, but we do have an Etsy store.
There you go.
Right. And so all of that stuff helps, and we cannot thank you enough for it. Anything else to add before we get out of here?
No.
Okay.
Good.
We're going to come back in 1 week, and we are talking big city horror. Our show is recorded somewhere high above Naval Station Everett at the nexus of all realities and is engineered and produced by Eric Margaret. Our theme music is Strange Eons Part 1 by the band Nightshade and is used with permission. Find Strange Eons Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and wherever fine podcasts are found.
Like sometimes you just need some crap, like some real serious crap.